Can everyone hear me? So I don't hear me.
Yes.
I don't think it matters.
I can hear you.
As long as you can hear me. Yeah, it's fine.
Do
Well,
you hear-
hello, everybody.
I can hear.
That was a private show on that one right there
Oh.
with the old pirate on cassette. Yes, hello. It is the Walk the Plank podcast. Actually, it's not Walk the Plank anymore. It is The Plank. I apologize for everyone out there. The Plank podcast. And today we have the one, the only, John and Tim. Oh my gosh, of Luminaa.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that grandiose.
Yeah, that was good.
intro.
That was good, Wade.
Kind of left me speechless there a little bit.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so great. But hey, why don't you introduce yourselves? What do you guys do and all that other fun stuff?
Why don't you start, Tim?
Oh, okay. Well, my name's Tim. Obviously in the band Luminaa. I do all the drums, keyboards, any other electronical instruments that need to be done in there. It's usually under my purview.
Mm-hmm. You do some singing now, too.
I do a little bit of vocals now and then. But yeah, it's more of the electronic equipment and instruments that is my specialty.
That's better than me. I dabble in singing now.
Nice.
It's interesting at best. So good for you, Tim.
Thanks, Wade.
I think you left out, you also do our photography.
Oh yeah, I guess I do that.
You do our photography, and you do a lot of photography, and you've pretty much taken all the photos of the last 10 plus years, and you do your astrophotography, and so you got a really nice photo setup with that in regards to.
Yeah, I am kind of keen on the picturing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, does really good with that. And also, I got to show this off. He brought gifts. Check out Deadpool.
3D
This was
printed.
3D printed, and I'm so used to seeing with all the fancy little lines and stuff through them. You can see the grid. This thing is just beautiful, and the details like you can see right in the head. Woo!
It's just
It's nicely done.
It's
Tim.
incredible the level of detail you can get on a home 3D printer now. It's just blew me away when I saw what happened when that came out.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of my drumline students were talking about how they had 3D printers at home, and I'm just thinking, oh God. Yeah, you feel old, and then you start really feeling old because you're falling behind the technology that bad. It's like I've never had an inkling of owning one. I had no idea other than like making gears or something for broken stuff. But you know, stuff like this, no, that wasn't even in my timeline.
No, you want
Oh,
to
yeah.
make, I think you want to make toys. That's what you
I
wanna
have-
make.
Toys?
Toys.
I have an incredible pile of helmets and masks and just doodads and statues that.
So you can make them that large?
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
actually-
I have a
oh,
I have a
what?
full size Mandalorian helmet. It took 29 hours of straight printing, and it came out awesome.
29 hours. Holy God!
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking when it gets about level or hour 23 or so, and you're like, please don't fuck up. Please don't fuck up.
it's not all the fumes coming off of that thing.
You know, that kind of plastic right there, it's really interesting. I didn't know when I started, but that's called PLA, which is polylactic acid, and that's actually made from sugar beets and cornstarch. So it's not dinosaur plastic, it's actually plant plastic.
Oh,
so
that's cool.
Plant
Um,
plastic.
plant plastic, yeah.
Oh.
It has a sheen to
Like,
it.
if you left that out
I
in
wish
the
the
sun,
camera could show it.
A sheen.
A sheen, I guess.
that's actually
Very like satiny.
that's a special shiny kind of filament called silk, but it's still the standard PLA, so it's plant plastic. If you left that outside in the weather in the sun, it would be just kind of like a degraded pile of mush after a few weeks.
Mm.
Seriously?
Yep.
That's
So
kinda
we
good.
could kill Deadpool?
You could kill a statue of Deadpool, that's for sure.
Actually take him out? That's not. Well,
He'll just come
I
back.
wanna
that,
say
that
that-
ain't gonna happen.
I want to say that Deadpool right there probably took 14 hours to print.
14
Yeah.
hours.
Like I would
Do you
start
have
it.
to refill anything at that point, or is it
No. I use 1 kilogram rolls of filament, and that probably took 250 grams. So
just okay?
it took about a quarter
Thank
of
you
a
for
roll.
dumbing it down for someone like me. I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah. It took about a quarter of a roll. So I could print 4 Deadpools on one roll.
Good point, Wade.
My printer's got a multi-spool system on it, so even if one runs out, it'll kick it over to the next spool and finish it off in a different color, and then, of course, you'd have to paint it.
But not to ignore John, but what got you started in that, Tim? I mean,
Hey,
I know you get on these things. It was like you brought us out shooting that one time.
I
and
thought
then
about it.
Yeah.
I'd thought about it for years, and originally I'd seen about 3 or 4 years ago, I saw people were printing up little doodads to make their astrophotography rigs more convenient, like cable management and things to mount things to your tripods and cameras and stuff like that. And I'm like, that would be really great. I just, at the time, didn't have any extra room to set up a 3D printer, and now, of course, I do, and I'd kind of forgotten about it. And then right around Black Friday, I saw a sponsored ad on Facebook, and I started doing research, and 2 months later, I'm printing Deadpool.
And helmets, apparently.
Go Deadpool.
I have a giant Star Destroyer from Star Wars that I printed that took 31 and a half hours.
30. Oh.
It's 22 inches
Does that
long.
stuff make like a lot of noise and anything?
It's about the same level of noise as running your dishwasher. So
that's not
too
so
bad. Not too bad.
No, I'm just kind of like.
I have a very loud dishwasher.
Maybe not as loud as yours then.
But it's ambient noise, kind of.
I mean, it's
little
loud
white
enough
noise
to
in
make
the
my dog
background,
bark when
put
it
you to sleep.
first is calibrating, but after it gets going, she's fine.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
No.
pretty crazy.
I always imagine when someone says, this took 20 hours to print, that they are literally just sitting there and staring at the thing for 20
No.
hours.
That's what I keep thinking. It's just like-
My printer's kind of fancy. It's actually in an enclosure with a door on it. So and there's a little webcam in there that came with it. So when I'm at work and stuff, I just bring up my app.
a little webcam.
Yep.
Yeah, to check on
Yep.
it.
So I can just look at my print, and I mean, one time I looked at my print, and it was just complete spaghetti mess in there. I'm like, oh shit. But right from the app, I just hit stop, and it
That's cool.
stopped printing. And when I got home, I cleaned it up. But yeah, it's the technology there has just come super far, and it's crazy what you can do now.
Oh, wow. Do you think, I just have to pry into this a little bit more. Do you think this is something everyone's going to have to need at some point?
I don't know about
It's like they're
need.
going to make us eat the bugs and stuff, and then we have to make our own like Legos or something?
I mean,
Print the
they
bugs
actually
and-
Print the bugs?
they actually have Lego files that you can download and make your own Lego bricks.
Make your
and
own
stuff now, so,
Legos.
yeah.
Yeah.
You'd
just
use
as
a different kind of
expensive.
plastic filament, though. They got some that's a little bit more durable, and you can have it outside and stuff.
Okay. So this is like the new Amazon?
Yeah,
Am I-
my kitchen table is basically Amazon now.
Okay.
It's just
So
that
instead
I'm
of
not
actually
selling
getting
anything.
things through the mail, you just get a file and you just print it out
yep.
for yourself.
Yep, I printed out stuff for my
Yeah,
telescopes.
so hopefully they don't make that in the food formation. Yeah, that'd be
I hope
Yeah.
they
that'd be
do.
cool.
that would be really cool.
What are you talking about?
I just want to walk up to my printer and go,
Fill it in with
Yeah,
the paste.
that'd be awesome.
How many sci-fi movies are like that? It's coming.
eventually you'll walk up to your printer and you just go, tea, Earl Grey, hot, and it'll appear.
Just like Star Trek, yeah.
I'm getting behind. Wow. Okay.
The hot dog filament.
Nice.
Just printed out some hot dogs. Eat up, everybody.
Everything tastes like
They're
chicken.
plastic, but you know.
It's
whatever.
pre-cooked.
That's
don't
why
worry.
everything tastes like chicken. It's not just the Matrix, yeah? Oh, God. Okay, I got to get my mind off this now. So,
it's
John,
good.
what have you been up to lately?
Let's see here.
Your-
Well, thanks.
Your
First of all,
camera angle's not great, but oh well.
That's
We
all
got
good.
your head.
first of all, let me say thanks for having us on here today, Wade. Appreciate it, and you guys
Oh,
taking the time to.
appreciate you guys coming on. You're always a
to
good
talk to
talk.
us a little
It's
bit.
always fun.
Yeah. Well, we're staying pretty busy. Me and Tim. We of course we're in a group called Luminaa, and we've been doing that for I think it's year 10 now.
I think this is actually 10 or 11
10
now,
or
yeah.
11.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's been about a decade.
Yep.
So,
Been a while.
and you're keep on keeping
We'll
on.
keep on.
And then all the stuff's down below if you want to check more of that
Thanks,
out,
Wade.
which you should.
Thanks,
You
Wade.
really should.
Yeah, so we're kind of like a synth band, so to speak. With Tim was mentioning keyboards and electronic drums and vocals and bass and guitar and all that sort of stuff. And we still meet for 3 to 5 to 6 hours every single week, and we've been doing that for the last, as Tim's mentioning, 10 years. And over that time, like you were talking when we first came in here, the gear's upgraded, and we've invested more into it, and we've been very fortunate that we now own and operate the the Boxing Cat Studios, which
Mhm.
is a building on my property, and that's grown and expanded with time. And so we stay very, very busy in there. I recently started a hard rock project again, so I'm doing some hard rock music again, and that's called All I Know. So I'm doing some of that stuff. But what else? It's been about a year since we've been on your show, Wade.
I think,
So-
Yeah, at least.
I think you were.
there was a while there I
Are
just
you
kind of
ready to
just
talk
dropped
about,
off the face of the
programming or
earth.
anything like that?
do we? I don't know if
You
we
can
do
mention
that.
it if you
We'll
want. I
do
mean,
that.
that's what you're up to.
Well, yeah. I'm also a software developer again, so I'm doing
cool.
software development.
Oh, very nice. I may have to talk to you after this.
yeah.
I have ideas, and I didn't even know about 3D printing that much.
So
I'm into old tech.
on the software development front, years ago I had a software company in the early 2000s, and we did animation and we tried to do game
cool.
development back then.
Wow.
And so I'm decided to take that on. I'm only about a month in, but started on the game development again, and it's been challenging.
That's
but
neat.
it takes a lot of time. It's challenging, learning a lot. And what's been great about that is some of where we got with the software development back in the 2000s was very challenging. But with new technology, it's some of the barriers to success I've been able to pass those really quickly and move into new grounds. So
Mhm.
pretty exciting stuff there.
Just
So-
basic question: what kind of games are you kind of looking at or working on right now?
So right now,
You don't
Just-
have a camera for him yet.
the very
okay, I don't need one.
the very easiest way to say it is it's getting modeled
Okay.
entirely around like Diablo 4.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, wow.
you can think an RPG game
Yeah.
that's live action and
Uh-huh.
isometric. So,
Interesting.
Yep. So developing my own game engine right now, and
Stuff I'd
and
never play.
It's challenging. So
I think you'd
No
like
offense to the John there.
absolutely
just-
none.
I
Ta-
know
taken.
me is that I'd get into these games and then I'm carping. I'm just yelling at mom, bring me down some more Cheetos. So I just don't leave. So I can't allow myself to do it.
I got
Wait,
it.
it's time to go.
It's like, 10 more minutes. I still got to level up.
You said that 3 hours
So,
ago.
yeah, well, it didn't happen yet. It's not my fault.
Well, I see you got some old products down here. You still got your Apple IIe over there. Hiding
Oh,
there and-
yeah. We can play some Oregon Trail right now if we really wanted to.
Nice, nice.
So, still on to the Apple stuff. And the collection is kind of, I won't say stagnated, but it's grown to the point where now I'm actually just looking for certain pieces,
Nice.
not just grabbing everything that someone throws on the lawn. So, yeah, the basement is full.
So,
But if you have anything out there, let me know.
speaking of old products, something you showed me inspired me, and just entirely comes from you. You had an old
Uh-oh.
lie detector machine
Oh,
with-
that's right.
with the printer and all of that. That
That's
thing
right.
that you randomly bought off of had some.
That was at a garage sale, and they just had making offers. So I offered them like the dumbest offer ever, and they were bringing it to my car. I was like, just get it out of here. And nobody even knew what it was. I had to go home and research it. So it's like there's just a bunch of knobs and stuff on there with the printer and that. And then yeah, the funny part about that, John, is that it got to the point where I'm just like, I got to clear out the garage.
Mhm.
Now the garage is completely filled again. So you got to see my 66 before you leave.
Nice.
Yeah, it's up
Definitely.
on blocks, and it looks like it's been there for 20 years. And I was cleaning out the garage, and I was just like, well, okay, we just got to get rid of this stupid thing. And I'm just
Yeah,
asking
giant.
anybody if they would want it. And I never even thought about John. I just thought
Well, I
some
bought
people
a
that used to
new
live
one.
here and stuff, and then I went out and sold it to. I literally put it on Facebook Marketplace, and it was gone within 10 minutes. Like
Love
people
it.
just grabbed it, and they were gone. And then literally, it was like a day or two later, John just just asked, "Do you still have that lie detector?" And I'm just like, "Did you see that on Marketplace?" I don't think you said yes.
No,
But
but
it's just something in the ether again. It's just weird.
I did find a newer one and bought it, and we do bring it to shows, so that's a big part of
I always thought that'd be fun.
a big part of
Yeah,
asking them
we
questions.
provide the musical entertainment, and we break up relationships too. So
Well,
Oh
yeah.
boy.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah,
It's
you
not Maury
inspired me
this
on
time.
that one, Wade.
But to ask you this before we get to our first question here is that you guys have been putting out videos and singles and stuff. I know you sent me one of your new ones. I don't know if you've released it yet or not. I don't know if you want to discuss that on camera now. We can
yeah,
discuss that.
we can talk about it. Are you talking about? Is
It's
that
the one you're growling on.
Oh, my most recent one here.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's my
'Cause
attempt.
that's what gave you the idea of bringing you on. It's like, oh,
Cool.
I haven't had you guys on for a while. Let's bring you back.
Yeah, so talk a little bit about the inspiration behind it. So I'm still very fortunate to have a lot of friends over in Amsterdam, and there's a really nice hard rock scene over there. And one of my favorite clubs to hang out is a place called the Cave Bar. It's in kind of the Pennockstrock area. It's been a hard rock bar since 1995. It used to be a disco bar.
Discotheque.
Disco
Oh, yeah.
tech. And the owner was
Good one.
he was saying, I don't really like disco. And he tried it. He ran it for a year as disco in his family, and then he decided to turn it into a hard rock club again, and it's been that ever since. And it's probably one of my favorite places to go in Amsterdam and in Europe. and just to give you an example of what you could expect, if it's a smaller establishment, the closest thing in our town is like a Specs bar in Fargo. It's about that same size, but
okay.
Perfect.
just hanging out in there.
Yep.
Randomly.
Check out Pirate on Cassette first week of June
Yeah,
at Specs Club.
love that place. Got to plug that place. It's a great little
D,
place.
you're awesome.
Yes. Just hanging out there maybe 2 months ago, and the band Testament walks in, and they're just hanging out if you're like an old school hard rocker. So with their long hair and everything. And it probably has a capacity of 100 people. And so that's
Seriously,
just kind of
that kind of, huh?
yeah,
It's that small. Huh?
it's very tiny. And
Hey.
yeah, it's very tiny. But it's a absolutely great venue, and there's always hard rock music, and you can request any song you want, and they just go over there and they play it, even your own music, as long as it's on Spotify. So a lot of good stuff. So I've been inspired by the scene there. When they have bands there and music is there, people are singing, people are really, really, really into it there, and they've got like a lot of people really like hardcore and aggressive style vocal music there, and so I thought I would try my hand at it a little bit again here and do that outside of Luminaa a little bit. But yeah, so yeah, I don't mind discussing it. It's just I'm not very much of a death metal guy anymore, but I gave it my best shot here.
So you had
Sent you the song. So.
some interesting guttural type sounds that were coming out. That was, it was full. It was really, really cool.
Appreciate that.
The ending, I got goosebumps there before.
Far out.
You went a little too far with it, but then you had like the little ish at the end, and then that it just drove me back to just my idea is that and your background is that you should change a bunch of those lyrics into German
Sure.
or a dramatic type thing.
Tim makes that suggestion a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
And
did do
just
the
kinda
ending.
swap it back and forth, not Rammstein style, but
Sure.
yeah.
I did some of that in the
Du
end of that
hast.
song where
Yeah,
I was saying
du hast me.
you or I, there can be only one, and I did that in German. But then I took the guttural stuff and threw it over the top of it, kind of at the end. I don't know.
It
so-
really worked out
cool.
well.
Appreciate that. So, and then to spin it even further here. So I'm doing some hard rock, doing some heavy metal, but the Luminaa band in and of itself, one of the things that we both do and we've always done together for the last 10 years is we have this synthwave kind of format, but anytime you walk into the studio, it's an open book as far as any type of music that you want to do. Tim walked in maybe a month ago and started this Dr. Doom song that we've been doing in the studio, and that's what would you describe that one as, Tim?
That would probably be old school supervillain gangster rap. And the reason that I got the idea for that.
Now, what are we talking old school? Or is this 90s?
Cypress
or-
Hill type.
So 90s.
Yeah, late 90s.
When does that become old school? That,
Uh,
I'm still
well,
fighting it.
based on how rap sounds
Old man
now?
yelling at
It's
clouds.
definitely an old school sound.
Yeah.
The way that came about though was because I was printing all these masks and helmets and stuff on my printer, and I printed out a full size Dr. Doom mask, and I tried it on, and I'm like, this fucking fits, So, and then I started thinking, how cool would that be if Dr. Doom walked in the room and just started rapping about how badass he is, So I had this whole idea in my head, and I gotta say that what we made with John's production help came out to about 95% of what I was hearing in my head before we started. So I'm pretty happy with it.
That's awesome.
We invested some time in it for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
About the last 4 weeks. But other than the drums, every musical part was recorded by me, and the vocals and the lyrics and everything were it was pretty much my whole idea, and John took a producer role and added all the effects and stuff in after the fact, and pretty happy with how it turned out.
Dr. Doom.
Have you released that
mask.
yet then? Or
Not
is that
yet,
It's on
but
our website right now.
we just
You can-
finalized the master version, so
Okay.
Yeah, we were listening to the master before we
might
came
be
here.
might be the first time anybody else actually gets to hear it today. So
So you get to go to luminaband.com right down below. That'll get you right there. But let's bring you to the first question we have here. So we have our top 5. I think I lost my hotkey thing.
Nice.
Dang, where'd you go? You know. Bear with us with technical difficulties. I will find this. There we go. Dang. Oh, that's right. I always hit that and forget that I have to talk about my drum circle thing I do over
Yeah.
at Drummer's Journey every Wednesday night, 5:30 to 7 o'clock. Bring your practice pads. Basically, it's like yoga with drum pads. We just exercise your hands and all the other fun stuff. We had some new people last week again, and yeah, we enjoy everyone who comes on out. I know we were at Concordia's Percussion Day yesterday. Had my drum
Nice.
line out there from Moorhead High, the Spud line, and Concordia's line, and I got to announce it over the loudspeakers to everybody. So
Nice
felt it
campus there. Yeah. very
it
nice.
is. Oh, it's a little bit wonky here. I'm going to move me. Beep, beep. Check that out in real time. All right, so top 5. Oh, my gosh. Top 5 songs of April 16th from 1994. Now, this
Going
is
90s
songs.
now.
Wow.
Yep. As I just,
Oh, it was 80s.
I was looking at country, but
94.
I don't think anyone would have got the country stuff from the 80s
Huh.
because I didn't recognize any of the names. So I'm just like, if I don't recognize it,
Might
no
have
one
to
will.
ask
But
the
this
producer on
time,
some of
what we're
these.
going to do here is I actually gave you a clue and put the
Celine.
Yep, I put the cover of the album on there.
Ah.
It's the cover of the album that
Are you
the
going to do
song
well
is
on this one, Dimitri?
So everyone gets a guess.
Okay.
1994.
1994, number 5 of this week.
is it the theme to Titanic?
Theme to Titanic from Celine Dion.
That's right, Celine Dion.
Okay. What do you got, John?
Did she do Wings Beneath My Sails or something?
Wind beneath my wings?
Yeah.
No.
Hmm,
No, she didn't do that one?
I don't
That
think
wasn't
so.
Celine
We're
Dion?
going to go with that.
That was Whitney Houston.
And Nick, who still needs a camera.
Nope.
Nick,
Nope.
producer
Hugginson.
guy.
I don't know
He's
enough
just
about
that voice
Celine
behind
Dion,
the scenes.
So
apart from Titanic.
That's the fun part. Is I was just getting ready for graduation at this point, and I don't recognize. Well, I
All-
recognize some of the tunes. I just didn't know that they were top ones.
all I remember was like Mazzy Star was popular in '94 with their sad songs, whatever that one was.
Everyone was sad in 94.
Yeah, it's kind of. Was that still grunge? '94.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
That was the year Kurt Cobain died.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's
Poor Kurt.
unfortunate. Mhm.
I could give my Kurt Cobain's joke, but I'll do that at the end. I'll make you guys wait for it.
You got a
It's kind of tasteless, but I enjoy it.
Oh, jeez.
All right, number 5 is "The Power of Love" by
Ooh.
Celine
Power of
Dion.
Love. Yeah, well, now I know.
Yes.
The Power of Love. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Can you sing the first line of that now that you sing, Wade?
No.
It's the power of love. It's a curious thing. Oh, wait, that's the wrong.
I know. I keep thinking Huey Lewis myself. It's like another stupid story about today, for at least me, was that we had playing a song in church called Hosanna, and all I could think of was Rosanna.
Rosanna.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's nothing like that. So just had to get my head out of there. But other than that, just I noticed that you guys made like an animated video.
Yeah, we're doing some animated videos too. So
You
we
need to
released-
talk about this, John. Is like, are you
Okay.
just stealing AI stuff, or what's going on here?
So
I won't say stealing because I think it costs money to do it.
oh yeah,
AI
for
way.
sure. So yeah, we intentionally released a female vocalist song. We had a female vocalist for a number of years.
Yes.
And that was kind of one of our last productions that we had written for a song called Mystic Hero. And when we had the female vocalist that we had in our band, she mutually decided to leave the group and all that. And so we had all this music that we'd produced, but we no longer had her presence. And so in my software development, I'm using artificial intelligence in a lot of ways to aid me, and artificial intelligence is out there. It's here to stay. Me and Tim have made a lot of music videos in the studio, but we definitely used AI for this and tested it out with a couple of the songs that we wanted to get released. So Yeah, and I want to remember the tool set that we used. It's still difficult to use. I mean, you still have to storyboard it and still go out, and the AI is really weird when you look at certain things. So yeah, we released some of that here recently.
I was
So-
watching some stuff on YouTube about people doing those, Beato. What's his first name?
I don't know who
Oh,
you're talking about.
I'm missing it right
Beato.
now. Yeah, I want to say Greg Beato. It's not Greg though, but he's on YouTube. Talks about a lot of the music stuff. He's older gent,
Mhm.
another Gen Xer out there.
Sure.
Basically talking about things, but he was talking about the AI now. Then he was using 3 different versions of these AI that can write
Mhm.
songs for you, and it was just down to is just like country, medium, and then raspy, and it'll write the entire song with lyrics and put it all out and within like 2 minutes. And some of it wasn't bad,
Yeah, some of it's not bad.
and I was just like, oh, okay, so is this going to be the future of what's going on? We already talked about 3D printing, and
Well, let me
that opened my eyes a little bit on that, but it was just like, is that the new thing now? We'll get into this a little bit more after the next question, but it's
sure.
just,
I got some opinions on that.
is that are people just going to go online now and just say, I want to hear a song about sunshine and lollipops, but I want to have the Predator fighting, Terminator in the visual part of it.
That
and then
sounds
that just,
awesome.
that just pops up, and that's what
Yeah,
you
that
get
sounds
to consume.
amazing.
What the
But
heck?
it's only like a 1 or 2 times thing that you'd watch, and then you just go on to the next thing. Not like back in the day where you'd buy the album, or you'd wait on MTV for 3 hours for your video to pop back up again or whatever else. But I'll let you talk a little bit more about that.
Well, I work a lot with AI now in some of my roles here. But what I really want to kind of get out there is AI is not going away, and it's, to me,
Is that scary, or is
No,
that eating
not
the
at all.
bugs?
No, it's new technology,
yeah.
Not to interrupt John or anything, but a real world example, Wade, is my Luminaa T-shirt that I'm wearing right here. I designed this with AI. This was featuring our old female vocalist, but yeah, I designed this picture with AI. It took about 5 hours of refining the prompts to get what I wanted.
5 hours.
But
okay, that
um,
doesn't sound easier.
I was pretty happy with the result, and looks good on a T-shirt.
Well, let me say
It does look good. I
Yeah, it
like
does look good.
that anime stylist thing that you
Yep.
got going there. Yeah.
So when it comes to AI, and I put out a couple articles on this, all of us who are musicians and work, the old school way that we've always done it. I like this example. You
Damn
still have to
huge.
be a carpenter to build a house, and or I can kind of say it like this. Some people have said it really nicely. They say anybody can build a house, but only a carpenter can remodel a house. And the same is with AI. AI is just another tool. Yes, some people will use it to write entire songs, but in the future, what people are going to do is they're going to be using it more in a production setting. The people that are truly successful are really going to be using it just as another tool, like a mixing board, just kind of using it for fill-ins. Yes, there'll be people that write entire songs with it, but it's so noticeable, the AI songs, and there's going to be a market for that as well. But people like us in this room, we're going to be using it as a tool, just in our toolbox.
Like an
again.
enhancement tool, not
For
as
sure.
a complete production suite.
Nah.
And
you should.
yeah,
You definitely
Yeah.
should. I mean, we went from cutting trees with a saw by hand to a gas-powered chainsaw, and then sawmills, and it's the same thing. I mean, it's kind of a weird analogy. but
even though that AI music, I've heard some AI metal music that's it's not too bad really, but I mean you can tell that it's always lacking that human element.
Yeah, for sure.
Like in AI pictures too, it's like that looks really real, except for like the five fingers on one hand,
Yeah.
and they're all fused together,
The
and then the
fingers are
other
hard.
hand like grows into a flower. That throws me off.
and no one's gonna go to a live music event and watch robots
Right.
play music.
I mean, I might,
I mean-
but
Yeah, I mean,
Come
first
watch
time
my
around,
computer.
yeah, I want to see what that's about.
right.
But I'm a mixing engineer. That is what I do. That is how I make
Oh,
money.
lovely.
And there are actual AI tools that I do use in my set
For sure.
for very specific things, which actually do help make human music.
This is where Nick needs his
Well,
own camera.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
I'm just talking here. So there's a tool set in a couple DAWs where it, that splint. I don't know if you've heard of stem splitting. If you know what that
yes,
is. So
of course I do.
that is all AI process.
Yeah.
So it goes through that process, and what I don't just use it to split instruments up, but you can actually use it to clean up vocals. If they're next to like a guitar or something like that, it'll actually do a very, very good job of helping you filter out the guitar part out of that. So that is something that AI is
That
a
would
good
be
tool
really
for it.
handy, actually.
So
We use the stem splitting in Studio One Live
Mhm.
in their software, and that's just a recent feature, probably about a year ago, but very nice. And I agree. I haven't used it to the extent that you're talking about. We'll split it out if we're trying to figure out, hey, what was that guitar's chord? We'll
Sure.
split it out to get to the
Yeah, yeah.
guitar,
No, I
and then
getcha.
we're looking at the chords.
that's fun too.
Yeah, it's really nice. I love how it can analyze music and then put down the chords now. That's been extremely helpful for if we like a rhythm and we want to rewrite it in our keyboard style and our Luminaa style, then we're like, oh, yeah, we know what they're playing. They're there now. So, and when we're lining up music too, man, that's so incredibly helpful in the DAW. So, but
This
yeah,
is the
I mean,
nerdy
keep
stuff you're talking
Yeah.
about, Nick. So
Yeah.
No,
Yep.
good stuff, Nick. Good
keep
stuff.
it going.
Yeah, no.
This is all above my head, above my pay grade, but I'm just a dumb drummer in the background. Yeah. Let's get on to the next one here.
Yeah, please.
Dun, 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 dun.
I didn't know it was gonna be
The music trivia. Oh no, there was toy trivia once. That was
toy
fun.
trivia.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, that was fun.
Celine Dion. I didn't
But
expect you to hit us
Toy
up with
trivia
that
you
one.
can only do once a year. That's the fun part.
Crash test dummies. man.
Crash Test
Oh.
Dummies 94,
that
number
would
4.
be.
But what's the name of the albums? Rich,
Oh,
you're
I
looking
I
for?
had it. It was gosh dang it. The album has like 27 words in it, or the title has 27 words in it. It's like
Tim would know this.
I had it on. It was one of like the first 10 CDs I bought back in the day. It was
Oh, nice.
man, I used to blast this and one other song on the album constantly too.
You must have been rich. You had a CD player in '94.
Yeah, yeah.
Dang.
It's Tim. He's got a 3D printer.
You're
He-
right.
He
You're
could
right.
build you one.
That's yeah. I could just print you a
You just
CD
print
player.
us a music studio.
don't
Man,
know,
I
didn't-
cannot remember the name of that
Didn't have
album.
Wi-Fi until 2014. So.
What was the number 4 song? Let's see. Someone had a guess.
It was
Okay.
by
Is
the
that what
Crash
everyone's hanging with?
I'm gonna go with that one. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with
Nick?
mm-mm.
All right. Now I'm going to ask you, can you spell it?
M.
You're absolutely correct.
Can you sound that out for me, please?
See, the last one had 4 M's in it, so I thought that was kind of interesting. That's for copyright, I'm sure.
I did like Weird Al's cover of that. That was pretty legendary.
Now let's drag you all the way back to the beginning of Luminaa and to today. Is that the music scene's definitely changed, especially from the COVID stuff and everything else. But like, what are some of the main things that you noticed? At least maybe it doesn't even have to be live, but just being in all the years. Like, what's been the major changes that you had to really roll with the punches?
Okay, I got a couple ideas here too. Well, the cost to operate has gone up a lot. I feel
So
like
you got to eat the bugs.
I'm
I'm going to change that to the title.
a cricket farm. We'll have Tim print out bugs.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I want to say that I see less people entering into the live music scene than ever before. But
Interesting.
I support music and the arts. My entire family does. Both of my daughters are going to be art teachers, and art is a big thing in our family, and so we support it and we're continuing to push it forward. But I see less and less people entering into the music scene, and I really want to say what makes me sad is I continue to see live music venues shut down. Nightclubs have kind of gone to the wayside. Like the nightclub, you think like when I think of a nightclub, I think like imagine some late 90s or early 80s movie from London, and you see the nightclub with all the people dancing. That's kind of gone away. There's some in some of the bigger cities, but you don't see the nightclubs anymore. I think what really stands out is bands are really gearing up and joining these giant festivals. So the festivals have gotten bigger, and I think that's a way that they can make money and survive. As well as, I think, Wade, maybe you jump in on this one too. Bands used to
got
tour
opinions.
all year, They used to tour all year, and
Yep.
I really see like a 2-month tour now. Like bands will
Oh, you're
tour
down to 2 months.
2
Okay.
months. And I can even say I got a lot of things. I see it kind of being positive too when bands start their sets. This is jumping around a lot, but start their sets at 8 instead of 9 and at 10 at night. Go ahead.
I was
that's a couple
going that
things.
direction too.
Go ahead.
Lisa, we'll be asking you about that.
Yep. Tim, anything?
Tim, yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Bloviate all over it.
John's really covered it a lot. I agree with everything he said about that. It's just like that too, and it's like all these bands around here. They're local bands, if you know what I mean. Shout out Nate Peeler.
Nate, we got to get you back on, Nate.
How to hit up the local bands. A lot of memes.
Local bands.
Go hate your your neighborhood local band. Yeah, Nate Peeler for you.
Yeah. Well, what do you got, Wade? What's on your mind here?
Well, it's just that even just playing in the bands with Nick and all these other people is that you see that I won't say the choices, but it's just you get less and less opportunities to get out there and actually do things, at least in a way that kind of makes sense. As anyone can go out and play. I mean, everyone's got an open mic night everywhere, and if you really just want to go out and just make some music and whatever else, you can. But is there a way to actually make a living by it? And that's where I've been kind of, going through it, and that's why I like doing this podcast too. Is I get to ask people like you guys, like, how else would you come up with more income doing what you're doing to produce this art? Because granted, you can keep doing it and just work in order to be able to do something like this for your passion or whatever else. But there's got to be a way in order to make music again, besides going straight to AI and say, AI, write me a song. And maybe I'm just being a dinosaur here and just saying that that's probably not the way I'd like to see the world to go. But, again, is that the way the world's going to be? You're just going to go to your computer or to whatever piece of equipment that you're listening to whatever on and just say, write me this. And, then you get your awe-inspired new hit single that you can go biking down the street or something like that. Okay.
Teacher, pick me.
So that's why I said I'm going to bloviate all over the top of this thing.
Pick me. I also, let me expand upon this. So
Yes.
I'd mentioned that I am encouraging my own family to go into the arts, music, art in general, art teaching, and things like you've done, Wade, and everybody here who's an artist. But
yeah, that's the crazy part is that I just got to jump your idea
please.
about the teaching thing is that the more, because I'm basically in most of the schools in the area and stuff, and the more you see where the kids are at skill-wise making music, it's phenomenal compared to when we came. Well, at least I know I did. I'm just going to say I'm the old man in the room here. I'm going to leave you guys out of this. But 30 years ago, there's a lot of stuff that, we're playing in bands that in the schools that I would never even dream
that's awesome.
that people would even be able to figure out, much less, be able to perform it. And granted, it's still in an academia type situation. So, you're just playing it for mom and dad and then you're done. But, why isn't that leaving? Why isn't that expanding out there other than everything's going on? I'll let John go back to it. Sorry.
No, love it. So this is what I believe, and this is why I'm encouraging my own family to go into the arts, is I believe with the rise of AI, there's plenty of evidence that does show that AI is going to take over various sectors and people's jobs. This is true. I'll just give a small example. Pharmaceuticals. You're probably not going to need 6 pharmacists at a pharmaceutical place anymore when you use AI and machines to fill the pharmaceutical outtake. So those machines will do that, and you'll still need a pharmacist. Now, what I believe, and it's just my personal belief, is that the evidence in the marketing and all the empirical evidence does show that we are, as a society, are actually going to have more time in the future, and our work weeks are going to become less. They believe they're going to get to the 30, 35. And I believe when we reach that point, the arts in and of itself are going to become more valuable because we're going to have a need to consume. We're mass consumers in America. More movies, more music, more all of that. So I believe there's going to be a resurgence of music that's going to take place, and bands are going to get big again, and people are going to spend more time going out. They're still going to be sitting in front of their giant TVs, and you talk about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think one thing we could go on and on about is ticket prices. Ticket prices in America are 3, 4, 5 times the prices of what they are in Europe, which is very disappointing.
That makes sense.
But what I see, if you're going to market yourself as a musician in America, I think there's been early adopters of this, and it hasn't taken off, but I 100% believe it's going to take off. There are people that would say, pick your biggest named artist. I don't know, we'll just say, I don't know, an Ozzy Osbourne, Madonna, Teddy Swims, any of these type of giants that are out there. Some people would rather sit in their living room, watch their 85-inch TV, and pay $20 to see that rather than pay $150 to be in the Ultra Dome at the far back, basically watching the same thing, their 85-inch TV on a narrated thing. Both are great. I mean, if you want the crowd noise and you want to be there, I love the live music experience. I go, me and Tim, you see me at music every single week, but people that are going to capitalize on being a musician are going to live stream just like they do other pay-per-view events for these big things. That's where their extra income is going to be. And there's people that have tried it, but they're going to do it, and they're going to get more and more people as our homes get more comfortable and we have these giant TVs. That's what's going to happen.
That's how I consume my sports now. Yes.
Yeah.
I
right?
still like going to a Twins game
Of course.
every once in a while, but Bison games in this town. Oh my! You've
It's
been to a
chaos.
Bison game lately? Oh my lord!
Chaos.
Yeah.
It's chaos. It's in a good way. Yep, we love that too. But I think that's where another one of those revenue income places is going to emerge.
The live streaming thing. Yes, I'll be
Mhm.
talking with you about that afterwards.
Nice.
I got some ideas, and I just don't want to share it with you just yet.
Well, your podcast is really cool. And what do you got going on back here? I like how you got the new green screen and all that. That's wonderful.
It's very fancy.
Yes,
exactly.
You got a nice setup in here.
Makes me real glad I didn't wear a green shirt today, too.
So I wanted to get more into like some movie talk and some other stuff
Sure.
that a lot of people would like to talk about, and just being so nuanced into Fargo's music scene.
Sure.
But
What do we got here?
exactly. It is what it's going to be at the moment, so that's really
Number
nice just putting up your
3.
guys' photos and stuff. But we have Mariah Carey,
Thought that was
number
Mariah
3
Carey.
in 1994, this week of Easter, 1994.
Mariah Carey.
Other than that stupid Christmas song, I don't think I can name a single Mariah Carey song.
Oh. They love the Mariah Carey Christmas in
Elizabeth.
England. That is like the number one thing.
Oh, really?
They just go crazy.
English
for
people
it.
also are known for their horrible taste.
What?
You talking well, come on. I got a Monty Python's statement too. If we get to that about creativity,
It's
That's
just a
really
flesh
kinda
wound.
good.
I fart in your general direction.
Okay. Mariah Carey. Oh, my wife would get this. She would get it off. I don't know.
I bet it's that one where she's screaming and then she screams through like 5 different octaves in
Oh,
the
yeah.
same bar. Because
That is pretty.
that was a
impressive.
popular Mariah
From
Carey song.
Elizabeth, Yes.
Oh, it just reminded me of somebody scratching their nails across a chalkboard and they just wouldn't stop for 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
All right, Wade, you got us in suspense. Sorry, Mariah.
I don't know.
Without you,
Never heard of it.
forget you.
Never forget.
Don't think I've ever heard
Don't
that
know
song.
what that is.
I'm not upset
See,
about
that's
it.
the whole thing. I wish we could actually like play a snippet of it and actually hear it, but yeah, I got to figure out my tech.
That's okay.
My tech is still fighting
Oh,
me.
Mariah. Sorry, Mariah.
Sorry, Mariah.
Yeah,
She
Not
doesn't,
really,
she doesn't
but
take my
sorry.
calls anymore either. So
but we asked. Is Tim talked a little bit about like what's the changes he's noticed in the past 10 years?
I basically agreed with John's statements and everything,
Okay.
but I did want to add a little bit of something to your AI and just going up to a computer and being like, make me a song of like King Kong fighting Andre the Giant over like bubblegum
Dude,
and
another
flowers.
great idea
Now,
once again.
You're definitely
This
gonna
is so
get
Gen X though. That's the problem.
you're gonna get
The
a lot of
kids in
people.
school these days, they wear like Nirvana stuff and
that's
Rage
right.
Against the Machine. I was like, don't you have your own?
Yeah, they don't even know what it is
No
what they're
kidding.
wearing, but
Didn't you wear Beatles shirts going to school?
No.
Oh,
No, that was
all right.
Grandpa's stuff. You didn't wear Grandpa's stuff. No.
Okay.
You weren't cool.
That was what you did when you got to college, because then you were a hipster at that point. Yeah. Oh, poor Nick. I know. That's Nick. I remember I was talking about Facebook as like analog.
BBC or
No,
BBS.
a bar was analog Facebook, and Nick just cringed, and I was just like, "Oh, you millennials!" I'm
Bar
sorry."
is analog Facebook.
In that cool bar that I hang out in Amsterdam, there's a sign that says, how does this? Pretend it's 1995. Turn off your cell phones and talk to each other.
Exactly.
like,
Exactly. I want to start these not venues, but these shows that you literally have to give up your phone before you can walk in there.
Put it in the
And a
basket.
lot of people are starting to do that. I've been hearing a lot more advertising with
Mhm.
that now. Is that there's even places that if you get you have to apply in order to be able to go to these venues or I don't know events,
Mhm.
and part of that is that you don't get to bring your phone.
That's awesome.
That's you cannot bring it in.
That's awesome.
So
I like that. I support that. Mm-hmm.
yeah, so do I. I don't. I think it was yesterday. I had to run to my last concert over at the percussive thing, and I forgot my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wearing my suit coat and all the other fun stuff, so there probably wasn't a place to put it anyways. And I was like, "Oh, I'm going pure '90s," and it's so refreshing. Except that now you notice everybody else when the concert's going, all they're doing is just scrolling through Facebook. And you're like, really? These guys worked hours on this thing.
Oh,
and you're
I
just
know.
too busy looking at dog pictures.
What about when you see couples out at dinner in a nice restaurant?
Oh,
and
the
they're just
millennial
they're just
dates.
sitting
Yeah.
on their phones, looking at their phones.
Nick's shaking his head, but I was.
There's two other
probably texting
generations
each
after
other.
millennials.
Yeah. The Z's are coming back, and the alphas, I don't know.
I do think I do like the new jukeboxes that are on the walls that you like the touch tunes ones
Oh yeah.
where you can go in and sabotage it, so to speak. I mean, like you're at like a mom's kitchen restaurant and you want to hear some Slayer Seasons in the Abyss
Exactly.
at noon with
Mom's
your
Kitchen.
sandwich, So that's always been pretty
For those
genius.
that don't know Mom's Kitchen, it's one of those privately owned diners that's right down Main Street. It's where you'd hang out. It's usually nice and quiet.
Yeah.
that John Mulaney joke where he said we played What's New Pussycat like 16 times.
The Star Trek theme somewhere. Just play,
Terrible.
What's New Pussycat?
Yeah, you walk into a bar and they got some sort of special event going on, like it's old people trivia or something, and it's a little earlier in the evening, and you're like, let's go to a different place, but before we leave, let me put this Cannibal Corpse on real quick.
Cannibal Corpse is good for the digestion.
It was Ralph's Corner that had Zappa and Slayer on the jukebox.
Dang.
So yeah, it was
Frank Zappa?
Yeah, they did. You could put on all sorts of weird stuff they had on there. I don't know if they had like a rotation thing. I just remember doing that. Again, this was the '90s, folks. Getting old. And again, when your stories go into decades other than years.
Well, you mentioned Ralph's. I mean,
Well, yeah, Ralph's Corner right across
yeah.
from Kirby's. It's now some kind of restaurant, I think.
something like that. Or
And Ralph's Corner is now selling mattresses.
that's where music's
Was it
going.
Ralph's or is it Kirby's? That's the weed store now.
Is it a weed store?
Yeah.
Oh,
weed
okay.
store.
That'd probably be next to Ralph's.
Yeah, it was in one
it
of
was-
the the two old buildings. I can't remember which one because I don't know anything about that stuff. So
Fair enough.
Nothing at all.
no, you're barking up the wrong tree, Mister.
All right, number 2.
Ace of
94
Base.
Ace of
Oh.
Base.
That's got to be
Songs of April 16th, 1994.
all that I want is another lover. Whoa,
Baby.
Ace of Base. Guilty pleasure. I liked Ace of Base.
Nice and Ace of Base.
Still do.
It was Ace. Are they Swedish?
Yes.
Yeah. Ace of Base. I think they
That
were
was the thing when I
Swedish.
pulled these up. I'm just like, oh, this isn't rock.
They're basically a cross between ABBA and Luminaa.
Really?
I can make that. I can make that work.
Except for they sold a lot more.
Yeah.
Well, there's that part.
We'll
sold
talk
more than
about
ABBA?
that at the very end.
We're getting there. Ace of Base. Would it be called? I'm gonna guess is a baby. Maybe I don't know what the song would be called though.
Nick, what do you got?
Frugenskar.
Frugenskar?
Yes.
Saga 9.
Don't know about Ace of Base too much.
It's all that I want, I bet.
All that I want. The
Oh.
sign. Yep.
All that
The
I
name
want
of
was
the
their
album.
second big song. I thought maybe it came out a little
And
earlier than that.
Coming up is number 1. Coming
Ooh.
straight on up.
Dang, 94.
Yes.
Can I guess right now? Is it Roxette?
That's not Roxette.
Damn
I'll
it.
actually let you get by with that one.
I liked that song too.
94.
No, so we were talking a little bit earlier about the earlier times for people going out, and this is, to me, it's kind of a new idea. Is that I talk with Joe Rudd from the Front Fenders all the time at
Yeah.
church from the church band. That's why I
Sure.
like going there too. Is that we have rocking chair time with Joe, so we have about a half hour before everything starts, and he was talking about, because I always start complaining, it's like the median age group now that comes out to live music has got to be hitting their 50s.
Yes.
So, and it's, I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing. It's just like maybe they're finally empty nested and they got to go back out clubbing again or something. But that's usually the people out there. And,
Yeah.
you know, trying to hold people past midnight is almost impossible.
That's
Even
where-
if you have
yeah.
the place packed and just running, jamming, whatever else, you stop for 5 seconds, they're gone. And it's usually past midnight. So he was always talking about that. How come we don't have music between 5 and 9?
Yeah.
You know, you bring in the dinner crowd and you just keep them there listening to the stuff, or even, you know, after they just had dinner or whatever else. And they've been on a campaign lately, at least the Front Fenders, of getting all these clubs to open back up for live music earlier. And
Nice.
they just took their production way down. They say they just throw 2 speakers on sticks, and everyone else just goes acoustic, basically. So just
Nice.
straight out of their amps or whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
And they play until 9 o'clock, and they've been packing the places. This is including the Empire.
Nice.
Empire's brought music back a
Nice.
little bit there. So
I got a music story about the Empire we'll get to.
TVG, John, TVG. As I'd be that clean. But so you were talking a little bit about coming in earlier. What have you noticed on all that?
So I got to support what you say. Band starting at 8 is a wonderful idea. Ending at midnight is a wonderful idea. Taking your normal breaks. 7:30, I think, is kind of, if you have the crowd, start at 7:30. But yeah, that's maybe this. It works. It works. I mean, what I'm seeing traveling too is they're doing it earlier too. I've seen it like at the Cave. They're starting at 8. They're starting at 8 and they're done at midnight, and that place is open till 4 in the morning. You know, so
So music stops at midnight,
Yep.
but the place just stays open till 4.
totally. It's open late, and then you're listening to everything else. But then the band is hanging out too a lot of the times too.
Oh,
and
the
people
after
are-
party.
Yeah, there's an actually kind of one that
You
takes
don't have
place.
to rent houses anymore. Oh,
No, I
I'm
support
dating
that.
myself on that one.
Do you have opinion on that, Nick? What do you think?
No, I like the idea of the starting early.
Yeah.
That's something that I think it makes a lot more sense. Because what the hell am I doing before 9 when I get home at 6?
Right.
I make food and then I'm just sitting. What?
Just kind of waiting there, right?
You gotta wait for the band. Band don't
Yeah,
go out
it's
until
weird.
9 o'clock.
And I see, you know, some of our venues when if people are trailing in even later, we'll start 15, 20 minutes later because no one's there. So
Mm.
9:30 quickly becomes 10, and then you get
It's a
it.
slippery slope.
So yeah,
Tim, what you gotta say about this?
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody last night about this where I was trying to explain to her, I was like, on a show night, we have to basically tear down our entire studio, load it up, drive it over there, set up, then wait a couple hours, play, and then at midnight, we hang out for a while, then we're tearing down at 1, and we're loading everything back in by 3 a.m., and I'm like, I'm 50 now, I want to be doing this stuff at 11:30, 12, not
Preach it,
3
brother.
a.m., It gets to be late fast, and starting earlier, ending earlier just seems like like a great idea.
Well, you can even see animosity between groups that are sharing the stage when it's earlier in the night, and they don't want to be the last band playing. If you're doing the multi-band thing, you remember that?
That's been a thing for a while.
You don't want
yeah.
to be the one who starts, and you don't want to be the one that ends. But now it's kind of being like middle and start is better, at least what I'm observing.
So like, is these the same age groups as I've been talking about, or
Mixed.
Have you been seeing the younger crowd? No.
They're only out on Thursday, man.
So I keep thinking too. Is
Yeah.
like
Thursday.
Wednesday, Thursday between 5 and 8 is probably a golden hour.
Oh
out
yeah,
there.
capitalize on that,
Oh.
man.
Other than you got to come to the Drummer's Journey and hang out with me for a while.
There
I
you
bring
go.
candy. Not like that.
Oh God.
The
Well,
voice
Tim, we
thing.
gotta go.
Well, look at the time.
Yeah,
Come
look
on,
at that
guys, get
sound.
into my van.
Don't worry, he doesn't have any candy now.
We did pull up. You do have a van out front.
I
He's got
do.
2 pants.
Well,
They have
Backup van.
windows. You sickos. Oh, so the earlier start time. So how do we remedy this? Is that other people are watching? Is like, I know we're trying to like start a campaign here of asking venues to start opening early, or at least with the live stuff. But what do you think we need to start doing in order to make that progress, or make that maybe the kids don't even know because they don't want to stay out that late anymore and they're too busy doing their millennial freaking dates and
That's
stuff?
a really good question. It's a really good question. I really only am aware of maybe one band that does it here in Fargo, and that's that Pray for Rain. They start all their sets at 8. I think you just got to talk to the venue, right? I guess. Work it out with venues. Like venues like Specs, they're very reasonable. you know,
Yeah.
so they would go with it.
So you think more bands asking or kind of requesting that?
I think that's a
Is
start.
there's little politicals,
I think that's a start. I don't really know if they have the
campaigning,
answer.
champagning, not in the halos.
Well, I mean, you see acoustic musicians, they get away with it all the time. If you're a one-man set, they're in there for
Yeah.
the dinner crowd, and they're done by 9 or 10. So I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility to get a band to do it. So what are the Fenders doing? Did they say anything about how they're getting it going? And
Well, they just know everybody
So
because
they
they've
can
been
just-
around for
yeah,
30 plus years. I think they just had their 30th anniversary or whatever.
sure.
And they was talking about that band that Joe Rudd was in the mid 80s just had a reunion
Okay.
show last week or the week before, and they put it on, or somebody did a story on in WDAY,
Dang.
and they said that the place was so packed it wasn't even fun.
Oh, dang.
It was like you couldn't even get into the bathroom. It was
It's
just
a good
there's-
problem to have.
That's what I thought. It
like,
was just like, well, it was, it's cool, and then it's just got to be a much
Sure,
to say that.
sure.
But yeah, but basically, I just know everybody in there. He would explain to him. Joe would explain to him. He's on one of the earlier podcasts too, so you can check that one out as well. And we were talking all about this, and like the ideas and whys and whatever else is that people just don't. Again, like I said, analog Facebook. People don't need to be out past midnight trying to find someone to meet or whatever else. You can go
No.
online and do that
Mm-hmm.
easy enough. So that part isn't taken away, but it's definitely not such an issue anymore. So you don't have to be out past all hours of the night in order to find people or hang out or whatever else. So is that earlier time that people just want to go home so they can be more productive during the day? I don't know. I'm just making excuses for
No,
it, but
that's good.
I will say a cheesesteak sandwich tastes way better at 2 a.m.
I can't disagree with that.
Well played. Well played.
Cannot disagree with that.
And we should also continue to encourage businesses to invest in bands, and make that a normal part of their regime of making money on Friday, Saturdays, Sundays even. Bring back music on Sunday. Once upon a time there was a very good late Sunday night music scene in Fargo. There was a couple of them, and it was quite popular. I think of like the Playmakers days, the House of Blues days, that early 2000s. That was very popular and lucrative. So there's money to be made if you bring it back and you just have the right setting. So
Yeah, it's been said to death that there's nothing like live music.
I agree.
It's not playing it on the jukebox. It's definitely different. But we got to get to number one. Here we go. Number one song of April 16th, 1994.
R.
We
Kelly.
have some R. Kelly. Yes, no, no jokes.
Oh, I was just about to say something.
Some R. Kelly.
We cannot help that this is history.
The only R. Kelly song I know is that parody one that Dave Chappelle did on the Chappelle Show back in the day.
Oh,
R. Kelly. You know, that wasn't my jam. I was more listening
that's
to
what I
Alice
said.
in Chains
It's like
and such.
I lived right through this time. I can kind of remember basically everything that was happening at that point, but I could not tell you that
R. Kelly.
what the top 5 songs were.
Is it I Am Not a Sex Offender?
Too soon?
That's P. Diddy.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
That's P. Diddy's it, yeah.
Baby oil.
Diddy parties.
Allegedly.
The diddler.
Allegedly.
The diddler.
Allegedly, people.
Allegedly. Justin Bieber was there.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
All 0 of you viewers, it's allegedly.
I don't know the R. Kelly, you know? I mean, I don't know the R.
Couldn't even
Kelly.
tell you one of his songs either. You know?
Gosh, I like that you did this to us, though.
I know it.
I
I
like
think this is fun.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want it to be what I know, you know?
I want to do more toys, but
Yeah.
with you guys, because you brought in the Skeletor
Sure.
still over there and stuff. It's
Nice.
so awesome when I asked about it. I'm just like, yeah, John brought that in. That was awesome.
I don't know.
Bump and grind.
I was close.
Bump
Yeah.
and grind.
Still never heard of it.
Bump and grind. That makes sense. Bump and grind.
I just wonder. It's like I
Yeah,
wish we could just
yeah.
play a little snippet of it, and you'd be, oh, that was R. Kelly.
Bump and grind.
So there we
Ah.
go.
Well,
All right. So now the future, looking forward into it, is that we can get the times down, all that. Do you see younger bands out there? You're hoping younger bands are out there, younger fans.
well,
All that is like
how
like
about
again. I don't want us to become circus animals, even though kind of are.
no?
But it's
w-
like
we need for our younger people too. I really want to encourage businesses to do business with people that are, you know, under the age of 21 as well. There was a lot of great places, even in our small area, where bands that were under the age of 21 could hold all-age shows. There were bowling alleys that put on bands occasionally. There was the Moose Club. There was
the moose.
the billiards hall would do it, and they would have bands
Yeah,
all ages.
Billiards used to do that,
There
didn't
used
they?
to be the basement right next door for the VFW used to do it in Fargo, and there was things for people to do other than go out and get drunk on a Friday and a Saturday night, even at that age, you know. So we need more of that to keep people entertained, and I think that grew the music scene as well because there was a place for young people to do music, and I'd love to see that come back as well, or more of that. I think that'll help perpetuate music into the next generation. So
Because I think that's what
Mhm.
Todd Carlson's doing at the TAC.
TAC, love that place.
Yeah, all ages. You know, they
Mhm.
got the place where you can get all the refreshments and stuff, even up to the adult refreshments. You can get that there as well. So it's an all age venue, and I've talked to him about this a few times. Is that this should be a destination for high school kids? Because I remember
sure.
we used to have that. What was it? Purple